The argument that people grow apart is very much a both sidesing argument, in my opinion. And let me explain why. When we look at culturally what is expected when you become married or in a monogamous relationship, it's basically that you maintain an image of everything is going great no matter what, and that you maintain this marriage at all costs, especially to AFAB and femmes and women. We're told that if we leave the relationship, immediately our worth, our value decreases significantly. As someone who is of North African descent, Northeast African specifically, and very much culturally Northeast African, it is very common to completely diminish the value of the femme, the woman, if she gets divorced. And so oftentimes, even in Western culture, we start using this argument where, people grow apart. And that people are starting to grow apart even sooner than they did before. I think that's a both sidesing it argument. Right on cue. Why do I think it's a both sidesing it argument? Because if you are both on the same page, then I'm not saying that you'll do everything together, and I'm not saying that you're not separated doing your careers and so on and so forth, and that these things won't take you in opposite directions or different directions. But typically when people care about each other and really respect each other and love each other, they still find a way to intersect the directions that they are going. People don't necessarily change fundamentally who they are unless if who they are is founded on a lie. That lie could be one that your spouse performed to you, but it can also be a lie that you tell yourself. Regardless, it's founded on a lie. And when we look at the high number of divorce rates, explicitly, the person who is of the femme role or the feminine role leaving the relationship, we are exponentially higher to leave the relationship. Is it that we are more malicious? Is it that we have more animosity? No. It's that we get to a point where we have reached enough. And if we have reached enough, it means that we have had to tolerate intolerable behavior. Often meaning disrespect, often meaning lack of consideration. In a nutshell, violence. Because whether you all like it or not, abuse is violence. And anyone expecting someone to hold themselves back and not improve, evolve, become stronger in order to maintain in a relationship, that in itself is a form of abuse founded in custodialism or ownership. And you don't own another human. Not your spouse, not your partner, if you want to call them a partner, because if you think that you own them, then there's no way in hell they're your partner, and definitely not your children. At the end of the day, I think it's very rare, like 1 to 5% rare, the cases of separation where people separate or divorce or split up due to one of them requesting a concession or making a life change that is so different from the direction that they were initially going on together, or that they've evolved to go on together in general during the time together. The rest are complete shifts from each other. And if I go into my personal experience, it was literally like right after the marriage ceremony, the mask dropped. And I realized that I had no idea who I married. No idea whatsoever. It was a complete performance. And there was consistently this allegation that I changed. And it wasn't that I changed. It was that the circumstances that they were now putting me in, now that they are an abuser, eventually they made me more resistant, more frustrated, more challenging. I would challenge the authoritarian position that they gave to themselves and their own self-anointed power of veto. And I refused to accept the control and the abuse. At first, I would try to improve and bend into whatever shape they wanted me to bend in, even if it meant knowingly that they were going to make me break. I would still try. And eventually I realized that the goal was to make me break. It was to erase me off the face of the earth. That's what the goal was. I was to no longer have my own identity. And this didn't happen to me once. This has happened to me several times. And most women that I know, and most femmes that I know, and most AFABs that I know, that is the consistent story that we have. It's that we meet someone, we fall in love, we commit to them as they are performing to be someone, and then they show themselves. Well, in that case, we didn't go our separate ways. We didn't evolve in separate directions. We didn't change. We were lied to. We were lied to. So just like high conflict relationships don't exist, toxicity between both parties isn't a thing, neither is evolving differently or going your separate ways or changing with time in separate directions. In most cases. In most cases, people split up because one person was trying to take advantage of the other and the other caught on to it. Or the person who was taking advantage realized it wasn't worth the effort anymore. Whether it's a lack of maturity or malicious intent, I really don't care what the reason is. But if you look at the data, that's what it shows. So just another narrative to debunk.